episode 44. Having a podcast has been so fun for me. It's been so good to talk through different concepts. I hope that I'm giving you the information that's helping you get organized, at least helping you think through how disorganization and what disorganization is costing you and how organizing can help you. And I think this episode is going to show you some insight into how it can help, why it's a good time to invest in organizing your business, in becoming that organized CEO. So let's dive into this episode and know that Joy and Robin both have had a lot going on. Joy works full-time, and Robin has had a few big projects on her plate within her business, and they made Organized Coach Academy work. Listen to what they have to say. Listen to how they talk about how getting organized has helped not only their energy, their flow in their business, what they know they're doing each day, how to find things easily, all those ways that it's helped them. And know too that Organized Coach Academy is open. I want you in there. If you're listening to this, there might be a reason why you're listening. And if you're feeling disorganized, if you feel like this is the time in your business to do that, I just want to invite you to join Organized Coach Academy. We have a new group coming in, and I want you to be a part. I want to help you reach more people, make a bigger impact, feel more at peace in your own business. Go to simplysquaredaway.com/OCA for Organized Coach Academy and join us. I'll see you inside. Enjoy the episode. Are you ready to work less, feel more organized and productive, streamline repetitive tasks, and implement systems that allow your coaching business to run smoothly even without you? If so, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Organized Coach Podcast, your go-to source for practical tips and solutions. I'm your host, Tracy Hoth, professional organizer, certified life coach, simplifying expert, and most of all, down-to-earth fellow coach just like you. No matter if you think you're missing the organizing gene, have ADHD, or just love anything organizing, I'm here to help you become an organized coach with a business that works for you. Pull up a seat and let's get started. I love seeing inside people's businesses. I love hearing stories of how people get to where they're at and why they make the choices that they make. So I have two special guests on the show today, and I'm going to be talking to them about their businesses, about getting organized in their businesses and what that looks like and why they chose to focus on that for a time. So welcome, Joy and Robin. Why don't you two introduce yourselves? Joy, we'll start with you.
All right, so I'm Joy Vincent. I am a nationally board certified health and well-being coach. I'm a solo mama of 8, and I am the voice behind Healthier Habits Mama podcast. I help work at home moms build healthier habits while they're raising their families. I also talk about the foundational pieces to our well-being that include self-care, moving your body, making better choices with meals and sleep so that you can put yourself back on the front burner again. But we break those pieces down into smaller steps that are much more doable.
Oh my gosh. And does everyone say to you, 8 kids? Like, is that the first thing everyone says?
Yes. Fortunately, part of them are no longer at home, but I'm still a big part of everybody's life. So
that's so fun. I love it. Robin, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Robin McIntyre. I'm a certified life and transitions coach. And whether it's managing a major life shift, letting go of unwanted habits, or looking to feel inspired again, I help my clients find clarity, shift their perspectives, and implement powerful tools. I really love working with women. And one of my biggest reasons is because doing my own inner work has changed my life so much that I love to help women get to where they're going and trust themselves again and just really live their fullest life.
I love when people's stories, they've worked through something. It's their own personal story that's helped. That it's so, I don't know. I think it's like a calling that is so strong and so fun to know that you did it yourself. And that's motivating, such an inspiration.
And Tracy, that is so true because it's been a long time coming. My background is in wellness, fitness, And I just really believe that I'm finally doing what I was called to do. So
Yeah.
it feels really, really good. And you've been a big part of putting that all together in the end here. So thank you.
Oh, ooh, let's talk about it. So, what were each of you experiencing in your business that made you want to get your business or yourself or whatever? What were like the pain points in your business that made you turn to organization in general or thinking that you needed that?
Well, I'm trying to move my business along, and every time I would sit down to try to work on something, I would think about how long is this going to take me because I work full time in addition to doing my podcast, in addition to trying to do this. So it would actually kind of stop me because I had pieces of my business in multiple places.
Mm.
And so with being a part of the Organized Coach Academy, Tracy has given me some different tools and ideas and ways to be able to kind of organize it, to be able to find things easier, but putting it in one place so I can find it quicker. And it makes it much easier for me to find those parts and pieces. So I know that I can break it down into small steps and say, okay, I can work on this part right now because I have the time to do it and I can find it quicker and easier.
So, you were noticing that when you were ready to work, when your time slot came to work on your business, that things were all over the place.
Right. And it took me more time to find the stuff. So then it took up that block of time. So I wasn't actually able to accomplish it. And I found myself procrastinating because I kept thinking about how long it was going to take me to find all of the things to be able to do this one step that I was attempting to do.
That is so good. And imagine how many people out there are like, I can relate to that. Like, I know what you mean. That's so good. Okay, Robin, what about you?
Everything she said. Yeah, Joy and I have been saying a lot of me too during all of our calls. Uh, I would say for sure that I feel very organized in all other parts of my life. It's taken a long time, but that was a priority. And I feel like I see myself as an organized person, but not an organized CEO.
Mm.
And because I've been following you for quite some time, I just kept going, oh, she's just getting better and smoother at everything she's doing. And so I was really craving and I still imagine it very, very close where I'm in a flow. And that's, I know that the only thing missing I've done all the other rebranding and all the other things that I've had to be doing, but it's been the missing piece for me to really get into flow. And when I come into my office every day, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? And where are the things that I need to do it? So
Yeah,
doing things.
that's good. I've never really thought about, I don't think I've ever said it. Like, organization gets you in flow. It helps you, like, whatever. I know flow has so many meanings to different people, but it helps you work smoother, which is like in my mind now, it looks like a flow. I
Mhm.
hadn't really thought about that before. So I can see time wise what it's costing. Like, if we look at what disorganization is costing us, I can totally see where time and think if you're procrastinating, you're not doing it because you can't find it and you're just thinking about the fact that it's going to take longer. There's all that mind drama, there's all that wasted time. And imagine, I always say compounding how, if you fix that, think of in time in your future, just
Mhm.
even a month out or a week out. Like, imagine 3 years out if you got that organized and how much time it will save you. Mind drama time, like mental time, and actual physical time working
Mhm.
on it.
Yeah, and Tracy, something else that, I feel like I've come so far with positive self-talk and my little inner critic is my little friend now and all those nice things. But really it's kind of like any kind of clutter. Every time you look at it or see it, there's some kind of, even if it's subconscious going on about, why haven't you done that? You know what? There's just this kickback all the time. And it just affects our energy so much when it's that I should be better. I should do this easier. This shouldn't.
Yes.
Mhm.
So kind of like what Brooke says, holding the beach ball under the water.
And finally gonna burst out. Yeah. Yeah, that inner critic or that talk or those beliefs that you have. And even it's interesting, Robin, for you that you think of yourself as an organized person for the
Hmm.
outside in your life in general. A lot of people don't even have that, but you have this thought like I'm not an organized CEO. And that thought, yeah, keeps spinning in there. And then you're finding evidence for that. So imagine if we break up with old beliefs that we have about ourselves.
Yeah,
So
it's
good.
huge. Yeah. Thank you.
So, what made you decide? I mean, these pain points, yes, but then what made you actually make the choice, make the decision to join Organized Coach Academy?
I think a big part of it was I had been listening to your podcasts and getting pieces from there. But I know as podcaster, you can only do so much through a podcast. And by actually getting somebody who you can work with, whether it's in a group setting or a one-on-one setting, you get more hands-on, you get more information, you get more ways of putting things into place, and you can actually have somebody look at what you're doing to help you kind of troubleshoot and be able to figure out what's a good way to put this into place and kind of help you think through it. Because there have been several times where Tracy and I have worked through some different things because I want to launch a program and doing some coaching, and I was trying to figure out how do I do this, and she helped me to kind of go through some of the steps to figure out what I needed to do. And that has been helpful because it allows me to organize my thoughts. It allows me to begin to organize the pieces that I need to put into place so that I can make it happen.
Mm-hmm. So, did you have any reservations like about joining Organized Coach Academy, or did you, what was that like?
I don't know that I really had reservations. I thought about it, and I had kind of put myself in a boundary saying, okay, I can't spend any more money. But then whenever I saw what it could potentially do, I was like, I have to spend this money because if I want my business to move forward, I have to, put some skin in the game, and I have to do something to make that happen. And there have been many things that I have learned just in this few short 6-ish weeks or so that I have been able to get information and be able to put it into place so I can move things forward. And I know that I still have access to some things. I haven't finished everything. I've been able to put a lot into place, but I know that I have the tools to continue working towards it.
Yeah, so good. Robin, what about you? What made you decide to join, and did you have any reservations?
That's so funny because I'm with Joy on the money because I've been working with a lot of coaches lately to try to get my rebranding done. And, it was just the timing for me, Tracy, was so perfect because I was thinking, okay, I'm finally, like I said, doing what I believe I'm supposed to be doing after all this time and all these other things I've been doing. And so the fact you offered it when you did, and I've been following you for so long, and you've just been magnetic for me. I have to say that you just have really been one of those people that watching you grow has been so inspiring for me for my business. So for one, I wanted to work with you for a while, and the other thing was, oh my gosh, if I have if I have this piece, and I can get organized because of what Tracy teaches me, I really can get into flow because it's just been in the works I've imagined it for so long. Just what my days can really look like if I choose that. And so I really do believe this has been the piece of the puzzle that I needed at the very timing it came along.
Oh, I love that. And just in my own life too, the timing of things, you kind of know it's right because there it is in front of you. Your path has crossed with this opportunity and it's kind of what you feel like is missing. So,
Mhm.
what are your biggest takeaways? What do you feel like? So you've invested in the program, you're coming to the end of kind of the live part of it, although we're continuing. We're having 2 calls a month now and it's open all the time. Organized Coach Academy. So by the way, if you're listening, you can join us and you get 2 calls a month. So it's good. But what are your biggest takeaways?
I think one of my biggest takeaways is knowing that I have a way to organize all of the pieces of my business and know where to find them. I can find them quickly, and it will enable me to potentially get to the point where I can hire somebody to help me with some of these things so that I can take a few of the things off of my plate. But I think the biggest tool has been the thought process of how to organize it and keep it in a space versus having it in several places that I'm having to dig and sort and look and think about, how did I do that? What did I title it as? And where in the 3 or 4 places do I have it versus
Mm-hmm.
the one place that I have it now?
You've trained your mind. I like how you said the thought process
Thought
part of it.
process.
Yeah. I don't think of myself in my business. I don't think I've thought of myself as organized, but I've trained my brain now, training it in the thought process and filtering it through like where to
Mhm.
find things and do things. So, Robin, what about you? What's your takeaways? What have you
Uh,
accomplished?
what has stood out to me is the power of one.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, and Tracy, here's another thing that you've really done for me is you are really good at taking big concepts and chunking them down and making them
Mhm.
look and seem easy. So where my brain works a little differently sometimes and it gets a little carried away with how hard things can be as far as tech. And I've been doing things in my computer for 10 years that I'm going, oh my gosh, there's just so much here. So you've been really good too at reminding us a little chunk at a time, a little chunk at a time. And I teach the same thing, but it's funny how that's why I believe in coaching, right? We all have to have our own coaches too. So
Yeah.
because you help me remember that just like I teach is the little what's one step you can do right now? What's one step you can do this week? When do you want to do it? And so you're not just telling us the steps, you're helping us put them into place as we go
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
keep the drama down.
I think having someone to see, here's what I'm thinking and planning to do, help me make sure that, I don't know, the validation, but also the walking you through, okay,
Mhm.
here's simply, because it can be simple. I think our mind just kind of goes crazy and then we're like, it's huge.
Yeah, it's easy to see the mountain versus the steps that we need to take to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm coaching people, they're thinking that I want to lose 20 pounds. And I'm like, well, what are the steps you need to do to get there? Don't think about the 20-pound weight loss. Let's think about what are the 2 or 3 pieces that you need to put together, and what's the first step you can do to get on that mountainside.
Yeah, that's one of the things too I love with coaching is, and I've seen this come up with clients, like with you all, you both have just said, this is what I help clients do in another area of their life. And it's so cool to see, okay, this is how someone helps me do it in this area. And
Mhm.
that can relate to
Mhm.
helping your own clients.
Our blind spots are just
Mhm.
it's the human part, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe in coaching for sure.
So, what is this solved? Like thinking back to your pain points above, how do you feel? Like what's happening in your business now?
I now have a path in front of me to be able to not only organize the things that I already have on my computer, but I can organize how I'm going to set up this coaching program. And I have folders that I'm able to put things into. As I'm creating something, it's going right into that folder versus going to my desktop and then to here, then to there. It's going directly in there, like my contracts, any of the forms that they may need, any of the worksheets that they need to have. Everything's getting organized, and I'm doing it as simple as I can so that
Yes.
I don't have to overthink it, because that's where I was having trouble. Was I was overthinking it and thinking I had to have this big, massive project, whereas I can actually wait. I don't have to have all of these fluffy pieces that are going on, because that's not the part that the people are looking for. They're looking for that interaction with somebody who can help them break the steps down.
Yes.
By the way, I really enjoyed being on that call and watching Tracy help you through that, Joy, where
Mhm.
you had all the things lined out that you were thinking
Yes.
that this is just how it has to be. And I get that because
Yeah.
I've gone through that too. So but to watch Tracy say, well, what if you did, well, what if this and what if that? And then all of a sudden you were like, you could just see your whole body language changed and you were
Yes.
just relieved. It was
Mhm.
fun to watch that.
Yeah, because I thought I had to have this massive thing because that's what everybody else was telling me I had to do.
Yeah.
And, I was trying to make it simpler for myself, but it was really hard to do. And I'm an introvert. I am not an extrovert at all. And for me to think that I had to do all these massive things was a struggle. And to be able to break it down and say, okay, I can just do this in, maybe half a dozen different simple steps, and I can build on it. if I need to, and I may not need to build on it. But if I can at least start with this basic foundational piece, then I can go forward.
Well, and that's what was cool too, is you can bring to the calls whatever you want. So it doesn't,
Mhm.
it's not like we have to talk about organizing our digital files. So you brought to the
Mhm.
call kind of like a project. And I use
Mhm.
the same organizing 5 steps
Mhm.
to organize a project. And we just continue using these same steps to sort, purge, assign home, set limits, and maintain. We can apply that to our time. We apply it to our projects. We apply it to documenting a process that we have. And so it's just
Mhm.
continually training our brain to think like that. But yeah, you brought to the call this idea, project, program that you were creating. And then we just broke it down, made
Yeah,
it.
because I was trying to figure out what I should do on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
I didn't know because I had this project in mind. So I wasn't sure the steps that I needed to do in order to get there. And so you helped me break that down, thinking, okay, what are the things that are going to make me money? But we started breaking down the project because in order for me to do that, I had to have the project figured out.
Mm-hmm. So organizing our process, our mind, our projects affects our business. That's so
Mhm.
good. Robin, anything you have to add?
Well, what comes to mind, especially with what Joy just said, is in a nutshell, you take out the overwhelm. You really have done that. So, and the second part of that for me is even though I was still working on other things while trying to do this, and I feel like there's a lot I haven't done yet. I love that you're still having a couple calls a month. I love that I can come back through anytime and be part of this because I do think it's a process and it's a practice to get organized in your business. And then it's just like anything. I help people with habit change, and it's like it's not overnight. It's a practice, and
Mhm.
our identity of being, like you said, being an organized CEO is part of a new identity. So it takes time. So
Yes, I love that.
I love that we can stay connected through this way. This is a real
Mhm.
treat.
Yeah, I know Michelle said that too on her episode about organizing being a practice,
Mhm.
and it's a new identity, and it takes practice to create that new identity and step into it and realize and then find evidence that you are stepping into that identity. So good. So any favorite parts? Did you have favorite parts of the academy?
I really enjoyed the live calls a lot because even if I wasn't, even though I felt behind, here and there, and
Hmm.
I had to manage that thought as well. But I just said, just keep showing up because there's gold to be found here. And just like watching you helping
Mhm.
Joy break down that project, there's so much in advantage to group coaching that way where we can take away what you're
Mhm.
helping someone else with. So I really enjoyed the calls.
Yeah, I agree. I think the calls are probably a key component. The videos and the sheets and things are very helpful because they're
Mhm.
extra tools. But I think sometimes when you have those, you sometimes need to kind of talk through them a little bit and having that live person to be able to kind of help you to kind of think through what that worksheet is about or what this component is about and how it might apply to my business and how I can implement it.
Yeah, I think that's true. Like anybody can have a digital course and you can purchase it and you can go through it if you're really disciplined, you will go through it. But having the calls to bring it to and customize it, not only for your business, but also for how your brain thinks,
Mhm.
what you already have in place, because you might have something that's amazing already in place, and maybe we just need to do a few tweaks to it.
Mhm.
Or you might want to scrap it, but to know if you should do that. I think it's helpful having someone see it and say, no, this part is good. Let's do this. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I love that there's calls to it and I get to interact and help people customize and make it work for their business. What are you planning to implement next? Maybe that you didn't have a chance to do. When we end calls, I a lot of times will say, okay, what are you committing to this week? What are you planning? What's your next action step? So now, what's your next step?
I'm still working on the coaching program. So
Okay.
that's going to take up a big piece of what I'm doing. But like I said, while I am putting that into place, I am organizing all of the components of it into my folders and into that one space so that I can find it easier and make it so that I'm able to hopefully launch at least a couple of times this year and be able to do it quickly and smoothly.
Yeah, and I'm so excited. You're coming in to Organize to Profit with me, and we're going to organize all the launch process and go through that. I'm really excited. Robin, what are you thinking? What's next on your business plan? What do you want to implement next?
I would love to implement finding just attracting the right clients. It's taken a while to figure out the ideal client and niche for me. As we all know, our clients are also different across the board, that it's like, who is my ideal client? Because I love the ones I'm coaching and they all seem so different. So I'm excited to get out there with a webinar to start getting myself out there more where people see what I'm about and what I offer.
You've done a lot. Like while you have been in Organized Coach Academy, you've also rebranded your entire website. Like I'm just thinking about how much you've actually accomplished in the last, I mean, we've been together, what, 7 weeks, but how much you've accomplished. And so, yeah, I can see where your next step is really now you're focusing on getting yourself out there, providing value, where you have been focused on organizing and setting everything up and rebranding. And you have this beautiful new website. Everyone needs to go see it. And you've done a lot. I mean, I've been impressed. How has how you think about yourself as the organized CEO, how has that all changed now? How do you think about yourself differently?
Instead of thinking that I'm not able to do it, I now have tools. And so I can do that. And I think it's kind of like a mindset shift of knowing that I have the tools, I can organize the things that I need to have organized, and I can not only use it in my business and in the program that I'm going to be doing, I can see it, working in other areas like organizing my office or organizing different areas, just kind of thinking through the steps that you have of, kind of sorting things and purging things and assigning places and all of the things that take part in it. I can now put it into action in other areas.
Well, and you even said that you had done that one weekend. You
Yes.
started organizing the
Yeah,
schoolroom.
a couple weekends ago. Yeah, started organizing the old schoolroom to now be partially a office area and playroom for my two grandsons.
Yeah, that's so cool. And another client had said that it just starts seeping out. Now that you identify, like, no, I have an organized business. I'm creating a program. I know where it all goes. I can find everything I need, and I can do that in my life too. That's so fun. What would you guys say if someone is considering it? So they have some of those same pain points. They feel disorganized. They don't identify as an organized CEO. What would you say to them about joining Organized Coach Academy?
You can't not do it. And I'll tell you, I really mean that. I think sometimes when we're in between a rock and a hard place, it's like, and especially I'm going to use money as an example because my first coach in 2018, this is where I was with my business. I said, if I don't do this, I might as well just go find a job. And I was serious. I knew I was spinning so hard that if I just didn't do it, and this is the same way, Tracy, it's like, Robin, it's the last piece of the puzzle. You have to do this. And it's funny how when it's a priority and we know it's important, we can find a way to do it. So yeah, I would say waiting is just, someday never comes.
That's so
Don't wait.
true.
Don't wait. I feel so strongly about that, Tracy. This is so worth you have so much value in this course. And I think anybody that wants to wait, and if you do wait, there's never a good time because I said it was the perfect time, but it was also didn't feel like a good time because I had all these other things going on. But it helped my momentum, and I know I feel the momentum from it that's gonna just keep me going into this flow state that I'm working on.
Yes. Well, you're in it. I think you're in it. You are, you're in that. I feel like watching you, I see it. So
Thank
that's
you.
exciting.
It's great, Tracy. And I'm very grateful to have been here. It's a great program.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't hesitate. If you think that money can be an issue, you can figure out where you can get the money from to actually participate in it because there is so much more value in the program than what you're going to spend. And doing that, you're going to earn more because you're more organized and you can find your stuff easier, and your thought processes will change so that you're able to be more helpful to the people that you are trying to reach out to and that you're trying to be a part of.
I think about that with time, especially when we are organizing your time, you're knowing what to do. And because the steps before that have been setting up your business dashboard and your assets in an organized way in your mind, time, I mean, you save so much time because all that is set up, and then you can just go and you're ready for that. So,
Right.
so good.
And
Anything
Tracy,
else you want to? Oh, go
I
ahead.
want to say one more thing about that if I can. It's definitely time, but also the energy we spend. I'm going to always compare it to clutter because this is how I feel about clutter. But every time we look at it or pass it or think about it, it's affecting the energy that we're working from. So whether that's guilt and I think guilt is a big one for especially women, right? If we think we're not hitting the mark, if we're not organized, if we're not doing the thing right, we just feel bad. And that energy is costly. It's really costly. So it's time and energy, I think, for waiting is just not a good idea.
Yeah. Well, and one of the colleague was just talking about how her mind is always spinning. It's always, she doesn't have a clear, calm mind in her business, and how organizing would help that because it's calm. You walk in, you know where things are, you know what your plan is that day. You have thought through the process. What are your money-making activities? How does that look? When do I do that? So time-wise, yeah, it's good. But I love, Robin, that you said energy, because the energy you're in, if you're beating yourself up, if you're always feeling like you're behind and not organized and you're a mess and your mind's crazy, like, of course, that's going to affect everything. So good. Okay. Thank you all so much for being here. So tell us where people can go to find you to get help. Joy, where do they find you?
You can find me right now on the Healthier Habits Mama podcast. It comes out each week on Tuesday morning. So that's probably the best place to find me at right now.
Yeah. So listen to mine and Joy's podcast on Tuesday mornings. Robin, what about you?
My website is robinmcintire.com, and it's all I's, ROBINMCINTIRE. I also have a very fun freebie, and it's easier to just go to my website and click on the very top ribbon. It's Unlock Your Want To Factor. It's your first steps to releasing unwanted habits. And also on Facebook, Robin McIntyre Coaching.
I love it. Your website. Everyone needs to go look at it. Wendy did it. So if you need a website, if you need a website person, I've already referred her to someone else. So, awesome. Okay. Love you both. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful our paths crossed, and I was able to use my gifts, and you are able to use your gifts out in the world to help these women. Wait, if you're finding this podcast useful, you must check out the Organized Coach Academy. It's my course where I walk you through every step to get your business organized, to get yourself organized, to save money and time, to prepare to hire someone, to do all the things that you want to do in your business with ease. Check that out at simplysquaredaway.com/OCA. Also, I'm sure you've heard this a million times, but I would love it. It's my way of knowing that you're enjoying the podcast if you leave a written review. I have lots of freebies for you. They're linked in the show notes. You can find them in my bio on Instagram at Tracy Hoth. And until next week, have a beautiful day.